In software engineering, we are taking chapter number 4, process models. The unified process. This is also an SDLC, software development lifecycle process. So here we have to talk about these three gentlemen, Grady Booch, Dr. James Rambaugh, and Dr. Ivar Jakobson. Now the seminal book is something which is turning point in the technology. So in his book, or all of them have written, unified process. So they were discussing and they were onto object-oriented paradigm. So when it comes to software engineering, software process, they said we need a use case driven, architecture centric, that is the architecture should be important, and iterative means multiple times we have to do this process and every time we have to give added functionality, incremental. So let me tell you, these words will come again and again. First, the user. So use case driven. I'll show you what use case means, because all the requirements will come from user and it has to be very clear to represent it and to follow it. Then we have architecture centric. If you want to make a home, you have to make a model first, architecture first. Iterative means doing it multiple times so that you refine it and then you increment it. So all these content, what they have said, the brief is the software and the software industry, the hardware industry is growing every day. So we need the software, we need the business needs to be fulfilled, the user need to be fulfilled. In terms of software, that has to be made fast and should be efficient. So in short, they were asking for more from the software engineering paradigm. So unified process, they are saying, and this process is all about good things taken from the traditional software process. Waterfall model, spiral, prototype, we all talked about this. So the best features and the characteristic, the good things of these traditional software processes has been taken, but the best principle of agile software development was also implemented here. Agile is all about flexibility, the software development which is quite flexible and it changes according to the requirement and it is fast paced. We'll be talking about agile in the next discussion. So whenever we are talking about, please remember, there are certain framework activities. Any model you talk about, it will start from communication. That is, you have to talk to the people, stakeholders. Then you have to plan everything like the project plan and the test plan, etc. Then you have to make the model, because that model and that architecture is going to be coding and testing is the construction part. And then we have the deployment part, giving it to the user. So the unified process, the first thing they recognized, or the unified process says, is about getting requirement. That is talking to the customer, the stakeholder. That is, you have to describe what the user wants from the system. So how the user will perceive it, what the user wants. For that, we have to make the use cases. So for that, this use case will be written in a UML. These all three gentlemen were responsible for this unified modeling language. So this is how the use case, one of the example I'm saying, this is the online shopping system, how the user or the customer will interact with the system and other stakeholders, other people who are in, say, directly or indirectly related with the software, how they are going to see the system, interact with the system. Okay. So the second thing comes is software architecture. They emphasized on architecture. That is, if you want to make a house, how the house will look like. So if you want to make a software, how the structure, the model, the aspects of software architecture will be conceived. Then only you can think about the goals, the understandability, how we are going to handle the changes, and also reusability. So reusability is the component already being there. You can just use it for reusability purpose. So the process flow, because we talked about multiple process flow, this is iterative and incremental. Iterative means doing it again and again. Incremental means every time you produce something which is higher version than the previous one. That is how you get an evolutionary feel of today's modern development scenario of software development. So I'll tell you about this picture. This is the unified process. Here on the left side, you see the normal framework activity you do. Okay. But now when in terms of unified process, they called combination of certain framework activities as inception. So inception is combination of certain activity of the framework activity, like the from communication to deployment. And requirements, see, in the inception part, the business modeling is going on, the requirement is going on, some part of analysis designed like this. Elaboration, these are different from business modeling to deployment, they are activities, but E1 is the first iteration, E2 is another iteration. For elaboration, it can go for E3, E4 like this. For example, in construction, all these activities are going on, but the iteration is C1, C2, C3, C4, and C4 is the final iterative increment, and then transition. So all these classical activities are added somewhere. So we'll start with the inception phase. The inception phase of this UP, we'll call it as UP. Here the communication and the planning activity of the earlier SDLCs were combined. The framework activities were combined. So they were called as inception, communication plus planning. Here, what is going to be done? First, you have to talk with the stakeholders. First, you have to identify the business requirement. Then a rough architecture, not of the full architecture, but a rough architecture has to be proposed and to be made. Then iterative, incremental nature, how you are going to achieve this, you have to finalize here in the inception case. Okay. Then the preliminary use case, because now you have got some requirements. What are the features and function a user would want, a person who is interacting with the user, this software will want. Then in this architecture, you have to outline the major subsystem. I'm not talking about the detail, but major part of that. For example, a car, the engine is the main part. We're not talking about a filter. Okay, the air filter, that will come later. Those are coming later. Then this architecture will be more refined, because there will be multiple aspects and the views from different stakeholders. Even your view is important as a software engineer. So here, because I am saying communication, planning, both are there. So in planning, we will identify the resources, how many people we have, what all computers we have, mainframes we have. Then we have to see what risks are involved, what are the major risks. Here we'll talk about major risks. Then we have to define a schedule because time is limited, and how we are going to achieve the increment. Then comes the elaboration phase. Elaboration phase, one example I have given here, one iteration in the elaboration phase. That is, there are multiple iterations, 1, 2, 3. So one iteration will take say core workflows. So elaboration phase is combining the communication and modeling activity of the classic models, or you can say the framework activity. Okay, of the generic process model, you can say. So this elaboration, because we already made some use cases in the inception phase, and now we have to refine and just expand these use cases which are already done in the inception case. And since inception case we have a rough idea of architecture, you have to increase it. Now you have to go to the model. You have to make use case model in UML, this unified modeling language. All this modeling, implementation, deployment model. So here, most of the time, we get the first cut executable system in the elaboration, most of the cases. Now, we have to plan, because this is planning also, that we have already talked about the inception, the scope, risk and delivery dates. Now we have to see whether it is reasonable or not, and if some change is there, how can we cope up with that. So in this, for example, 2 years, we cannot give the project in 4 years. You have to complete it before 2 years, say 1 to quarter years like this. Now the construction phase, the coding activity is done here. So construction is construction only. There is no combination. Construction is construction. Here, because already architectural model is developed, we'll take the input of this modeling, and now we are going to construct. because there may be some component modeling taking place. So we have to use the component, and we have to use the code which are being developed by us, and we have to make all the use cases operational. Okay, for that we have to input this analysis, design, etc. And now we'll see what features and functions are required, all the necessary. We cannot leave anything here. We will take the car filter here. Okay, this also has to be implemented, and then once the software code is implemented, component are being bought, or codes are being bought, you have to decide for the testing. For example, you wrote some function, I wrote some function. We have to combine it, and when we combine it, we need to go for certain testing. It can be unit testing, it can be integration testing. Actually, all these testing, integration activities has to be done here in the construction phase. So development and testing will be done here, and then we have to develop the acceptance test also, because the user will accept only on behalf of certain acceptance test. So this has to be prepared also in this phase. Coming to the transition phase. So what is the transition phase? We are combining the construction and deployment. To be very precise, the last of construction and the initiation of deployment. This is the part of the transition, actually we are calling. That is the later stages of the construction and previous cases of the deployment. So now software will be given to the user for beta testing. They will check it, they will verify it, they'll get back to you for the defects and whatever necessary changes they would like to have in your software. Now, as the software is ready, you have to give all the documentation, software engineering products. For example, user manual, user guide, troubleshooting guides, installation procedures, and other documents which are required, like the SRS, you don't have to give the design, but if they want, that is also there. Then coming to the production phase, so there is also only one activity which is coinciding with the framework activity, that is the deployment activity. So here, once your software is working, you have to support, and you have to, because in between also you'll get some defect reports and certain changes. This will be given to you, you have to evaluate, you have to do it or not. And see, at the same time, the construction, transition and production is going on. Other activity can also be done. That is, we have already started the software increment while these activities are going on. So what I'm saying is, in UP, all these are going on, not in sequence, but in staggered concurrency, because concurrency is like this, but staggered concurrency is like this. So software engineering workflow, see, workflow, task set, this already we discussed about. Task set we started with the framework activity. Every activity will have some action will have some task set is the actual work you are going to do. So you can say that the workflow or the task set are analogous here. So what actions we have to do, what actions will produce what task set, and what task set will give you what work product. So all these has to be revisited here, because ultimately you have to meet the end of the user. Personal and team process models. So we discussed about various SDLCs, software development life cycle, that is waterfall model, prototype and spiral, etc. So these are the process models. But when we are talking about team and individuals, because any project will be undertaken by a team, the project will be done or completed by a team, and this team will have individuals. So for team, the models which are taken are team process models, and for the individuals, those who are working inside the team, if we talk about individuals, then it's PSP. Okay, we are talking about personal process model, right? So PSP is for individual, TSP is for team. The idea is the team can itself create its own process. Okay, because they are going to follow a certain need, and if an individual is creating its own process, following certain own process, actually the individual it is doing perfectly, then it will be helping the organization, because this organization is made up of these individuals only. So we can create a PSP or personal software process, or you can say and also because we are talking about team software process. Okay, both require hard working, training and coordination. Why? Because you need to train everyone, you need to train the team, but both are achievable. So again, for single it's single PSP, for team it's TSP. Personal software processes. So the software processes to be followed by an individual, a single person. So this PSP is emphasizing a personal measurement, single individual we are talking about, measurement of the output, whatever it is doing, the work product. He may be a coder, he may be a designer, or he may be a quality person, or a person doing some work can also take care of the quality. So this PSP makes this practitioner, that is the people who are actually coding and actually creating the work product, they are responsible for project planning. That is, they will estimate also and schedule also, and also control the quality of whatever product they are producing. So we are talking about individuals here. Please remember, PSP is defining, this kind of model is defining 5 framework activities. So an individual, what are the phases of PSP model? Defines 5 framework activities. The first one is planning. So planning is all about isolating the requirement or knowing the requirement. Then developing the size and the resource estimates. Various metrics will come here. For example, in 2 years I will complete, 2 months I will complete, 50,000 or any amount. Then we have to estimate the defect. That is, how many defects this we can project. That okay, 10 defects will be there, 20 defects will be there. And all these metrics, as I said, estimates, all these estimates have to be recorded on a separate worksheet or a template which is made by individuals, team or pre-made. Then the development task is done. Okay, first it has to be identified and then the project schedule is created in planning. That is an individual how long it will take. Coming to high level design. So in high level design, the external specification, because the requirement has come. So we are talking about external specification and we are talking about component design here. What all component will be constructed and developed. And if there is a problem, that is some uncertainty is there, we'll try to create a prototype so that we know a priori that there will be certain problems, how to deal with them. And as I said, all issues have to be recorded and tracked. Of course, the manager is already there, always there. But PSP is for individuals. High level design review. Now how to review? So here we will adopt the formal verification methods. In software testing, there are certain formal verification methods. Type systems, symbolic execution, proof assistance. We'll talk about that later. These are applied because we want to find out the bugs, the errors in the design, the problem in the design. So the metrics again, we have to maintain all the important tasks. What are the result we are going to get? We have to follow and write these metrics. Okay, in the high level design review. Then the development. Now, because we talked about component designing, so component level design, it needs to be refined here and it has to be reviewed. An individual can create one component. It may be refined, it may be reviewed. Then a code has to be generated. It needs to be reviewed. It needs to be compiled, run and tested. Again, same thing. Metrics have to be maintained because there are certain output by an individual and there will be certain result by the individual. Okay. So the template I talked about. Then coming to post-mortem. If somebody dies, the post-mortem is done to know what is the cause, what is the reason. So as we are collecting, measuring, estimating all the metrics we have collected, then we will see the process, whatever we have adopted, what is the effectiveness of this process, because we are talking about different kind of processes. Anyone can take, you can take any other process, I can take any other process. So we need to find out the effectiveness. And these measures and metrics which we are following right from the first planning, high level design review, and then development. Okay. So this will guide us how to improve its effectiveness of the process, because we are trying to find out we need to do better. PSP, as you might have understood now, that this is all about identifying the problems, error early. Okay. Because we have to, that is why we have metrics and measurement, etc. And the individual is said, you have to find out the defect estimate. So for that, we need some good assessment type of activity. And this will be done on all the work products. For PSP, a rigorous assessment activity is there. But the situation is, PSP is not widely adopted. The problem, first of all, as you said, and we discussed, that the intellect has to be high. Because PSP is all about, estimating, finding errors, demand a lot of, values to be put. So first you have to be committed to do that, and intellectually you have to be smart also. And this is both for a practitioner and a manager. They are also individuals. You can just train them also if you want for PSP, but the training is quite lengthy. The training requires a lot of money. So the cost of training and the length is quite high. And the problem, one more problem, is the required level of measurement is culturally difficult for many software people. Software people learn something different, right? Now we talked about PSP, and this PSP and TSP go hand in hand. So we are talking about team software process. PSP is about personal or single individual practitioner or manager. But when we talk about TSP, we are talking about whole team. There can be multiple teams, or there can be single team working on a project, right? So whatever we are going to talk about, just assume it to be pertaining to all of the team. So goal of the TSP is to build a self-directed project team. Self-directed means the project team will decide what to do, how to organize, how to plan, because they have to produce a high quality software. In Waterfall, we know what to do. In Spiral, we know what to do. But here, the team will decide. So Humphrey, he gave certain objectives of this TSP. First, the thing we started is self-directed. So the first thing is to build self-directed team that will plan and track their work. They will establish the goals and own their processes and plans, because it's teamwork. The team. So this can be a pure software team. It can be software along with some other team, integrated product team. So 3 to 20 engineers. This is what Humphrey has suggested. And this shows, because manager have to guide. First of all, you have to coach and motivate and teach your team. That is how to get the peak performance. You need coach for your hockey team, for your cricket team. That's how. And how to accelerate, how to do the software improvement so that the company or the organization or the team achieves the CMM level 5. We'll talk about this CMM. There are different levels: initial, managed, defined, quantitatively managed, and optimizing. So this is the optimizing level we are talking about, because we want the high maturity organization of level 5. So these are the objectives of TSP, team software processes, because all is done to improve the product. Because he also suggested that this can also be given in the university level. So it will facilitate university teaching of industrial grade team skills. Okay. So TSP we talked about. The self-directed team is the core, and the say when the team is by itself self-directed, it has all the idea of what is their goal and what do they want to achieve, objectives. So this TSP is highly dependent on PSP, and PSP corresponds to TSP. So the team being formed by the individuals, they have to have a clear understanding of what they want to achieve. What are their goals and objectives? So this self-directed team will define the role and responsibility of each single team member. It will track the quantitative project data about productivity and quality. That is, I'm not just talking about project. We are talking about quantitative data of the project. Okay? And it will identify a team process, because the project can have multiple processes. What is the best process will follow and how to implement it. It also defines the local standard applicable to the team software engineering work. That is, what other standards we can apply. And then the risk assessment and how to react, how to minimize this risk or to completely, get rid of that risk. So finally, the whole idea is to track, manage and report the project status. So TSP also defines certain framework activity, project launch, high level design, implementation, integration, test and postmortem. The postmortem is all about process improvement, that CMM we talked about. This is TSP. So TSP uses what? It uses a wide variety of the script, the forms and the standard, because there have to be certain criteria, the way, standards to guide the team, because this is the standard we have to follow. These are the script. This is the form we have to follow. So script is all about a specific project activity. That will be the project will launch, what will be the design, how we are going to implement it, integration, system testing, and the postmortem. This will be there in the script. And script will also contain various work functions, detailed, that is, what will be the development planning, what is the requirement development, if some changes there, software configuration management, and the unit testing. So TSP is all about how the team will be self-directed. Okay, the best team will be best team which is self-directed. So team members, they will set their own objective. They will try to adapt the process to meet their need, control and project schedule. And this is done through measurement and all the analysis of the metrics which are being collected. That is why we have to talk about PSP also here. And then we will want to improve the team approach, because this is all about putting the software engineering in place to get a good product. Process technology. So as we talked about process, it is a layered technology. So we have tools, methods, process and quality focus. So process technology tool, this will help and allow a software organization to build an automated model of the process framework, task set, umbrella activity. So this all comes in the SDLC, software development lifecycle. So in this SDLC, we have framework activities, task set, umbrella activities, actions. So the model we are talking about is we are representing it using a network, and this is showing the workflow. It can be iterative, it can be serial, right? And then we will examine alternative process structure that might lead to reduced development time or cost. Once we have decided the process, there are other process technology tools. It's all about tools. Now this can be used to allocate, monitor and also control the software engineering activities, actions and the task. Because what we have defined in process model, this also has to be allocated, monitored and controlled. And here we are talking about each member of a software team can use these tools, the top layer, to develop a checklist of work they have performed, work product they have produced, and what is the quality assurance activity to be conducted. So this, you just have to know with this discussion, we are talking about the tools that will help you to take the software engineering activities or put these software engineering activities into the software development, because all about is time and cost management. So this is all about this discussion. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself.